through my last 24 hours. Same sunny moon, couple more dramas. Feeling tears up a fucking so sour. I just wish I had 100 more hours. Got a generation 24 minus. What we got a budget for, can I borrow? So it's going really quick, it's $24. Going back to the mama, let's go chowder. I can feel the tender love in your power. It's 24, it's 24, it's 24, it's 24 hours. Would you trade your money for hours? Trade your hours for a couple more commas. First you see the dark and then you see the light. Then you see the day and then you see the night. I'm just never ready on what I say inside. Thank my creator, I created right. Stumbled on my time, I think I need a rhyme. Struggling inside, it's free my evil side. Swallowing my ego and I eat my pride. Fight it to the end until I see the prize. All I got is day and night. Right, night is dark, day is light. I stay for moments and I say good night, day and night. My only options in the game of life, play the dice. You lose the hope if you don't pay the price. Night is black, the chair is white, kind of racial white, sun died. Made of ice like the glacier might, calibrated the way I like it. The 24-hour hand, will take it twice, stay a change, and I ain't Mother Nature. And Father Time had a baby and it named it twice. They told me, son, I hope they raise him right. Daughter told, her name is Luna, but they gave her life when sun is down. You're right into a greater height. Feel like PT on the sky and never fading by. You see my shadow on the moon cause I was taking fly. Never like I made a shine. Yeah. First you see the dark and then you see the light. Then you see the day and then you see the night. I was never ready when I said inside. Thank my creator, I created right. Struggling in the time, I think I need a ride. Struggling in the time, we can be the time. Swallowing my ego when I eat my pride. Fight it to the end until I see the prize.
I'll be mad if you ain't at my weight. In a race, like the faith isn't past the mace. Throwing bricks like the mask of tape. Take me from the pit down to acid place. Let me see the grin on the bastard's face. I'm coming from the kid of the master race. Excellency in the master's race. I know the code, so I crack the safe. Bury me with Sadie in his casket. And we own it, so our master safe. Bury me with Polo with the gap on waist. Victory is sweet, I need the aftertaste. Then you see the day, then you see the night. I'm just gonna learn it, then I see it now. Maybe I'm the creative line. Stumble on the fast, and then I see the blind. Loving in the sides, then I feel the signs. I don't know when I see my pride. Somebody to the end until I see the blind.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our good brother Kambata off of the LSD album, and that song is called 24 Hours. All right, that is Red Pillar and Kambata. Whenever y'all look for my name on the streaming platforms, put Pillar, right? Not Red Pill. That's not my name inside of the music realm. It's Red Pillar, AR. It's the pill with an AR, right? Because there's another red pill that's out there who is European descent. That's not me. That's not moi. I'm the red pillar, right? So salute to the family in the building. Shout out to the Instagram family in the building. Shout out to the YouTube family in the building. Facebook family in the building. All of the family tapping in. This is another episode of Melanin Mondays, episode 130. The Judas and the Blackamoor Messiah. All right. The Judas and the Blackamoor Messiah. Tonight's show is a preview for an upcoming show that we are doing in the beautiful land of Atlantis, Georgia. Right? Atlantis, Georgia. We're going to have the family pulling up, okay, in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're also going to have the family tapping in from around the world via live stream on August the 30th and as well August the 29th. I just made the big announcement earlier today that we are going to be having our good brother Kambata, Bata, Kambata. And we also are going to have Sister Imena Laura from Ghetto to Goddess. She's also going to be performing, right? She will also be performing in Atlantis on the 29th. Red Pillar and Blue Pillar, we will also be performing in the magical land of Atlantis on August 29th. Now, what we're going to be doing on the 29th and the 30th is we're going to be doing something twofold. We're going to be celebrating the arts and the sciences on Black August. You know what I'm talking about? In August, the Dog Star Sirius, Dog Days of Summer, the A and Jason. Yeah, August, Red Summer. You know what I'm talking about? Let's do a roll call so we know who's in the building before we start chopping it up tonight. Let me get a roll call um, from the family so we know where we tapping in from. Okay? Somebody said Red refined his verses. Oh, wait till you hear the album. Or just wait till you hear Red Summer. DC, and I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Detroit, North Carolina, Grenada, Grenada, Detroit. Shout out to all of the family that came out this weekend in Detroit for the psychedelic conference with KT the Arch Degree and a few people, the IE, the Kalinde, Baba Kalinde IE's family and his students, everyone that pulled up. Salute to each one of y'all. It was a legendary event, right? Legendary event. Okay. Uh, we got Tucson, Arizona in the building. We got Florida in the building. Brooklyn, of course. Queen Offset was goody. Strong Island in the building. Rough Buff is in the building. NC is in the building. The Boot is in the building. Fort Worth is in the building. Northern Virginia is in the building. Naptown in the building. South Carolina's in the building. Charlotte, they doing earthquakes in Charlotte. Is everybody okay in Charlotte? And is the family on the border in VA? Are y'all all right? If you felt the shaking, put a fire emoji in the chat. I want to do a little bit of you know, I want to take a toll. DC in the building. Shout out to DC. Naptown in the building. PG is in the building. All right. Vallejo is in the building. Queensbridge, Dartmouth. All right. Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Texas is in the building. Salute to y'all. Houston, salute to y'all. West Phoenix. It's hot as a mother out there. Salute to y'all. Yeah, Corona rising. There were 33 days where the heat index went above 115. Right? Queensbridge, Vallejo, Harlem, Dallas, Georgia, H-Town, Hinesville, Rhode Island, Vegas. Three the it's 34 now. Shout out to Charleston White, right? NC, yeah. The SIP, Mississippi. Yeah, what's popping in Mississippi? Little Rock. Chicago is lit. Talk black to me. Chicago is lit. They out there. Are they still turning up? Chicago is lit. I said on my Instagram earlier, that's the energy. I feel that that's the spirit of the brother who just made transition out there. Uh, FBG Duck, correct? I don't want to pronounce his name incorrectly. Yeah, but the Shot Town is lit right now. Okay, Chicago is kind of lit. Um, the Carolinas, the earthquakes are going off. You know, that's not something that's common, right? One of my day ones name is Duck out of Red Hook. That's one of my day ones. You know what I'm talking about? Who we hopped off the porch with. So that Duck energy is strong. You know what I mean? And if he was anything like the Duck that we grew up with, then I know what his energy is like. So rising power, 704. Yeah, Raleigh. Look. They felt the earthquake. Yeah, the soul return is in 2 days. Salute to you. Tap in. You see how the earth is shaking for you. You see how the sun is coming out and is basically, bathing you in a different type of sun ray. This is the different type of sun this year. This is not about just catching a tan. This is about absorbing some information. It could be turned some. This is about absorbing the sun rays and absorbing Ra and turning that into information, right? Turning that into information. Merritt Island, Florida. We will be in Florida this weekend. Um, Philly. The young brother's death doesn't sit. Yeah, it doesn't sit well with me. The 585 Rochester, but he was a shot caller. Used his money to feed his folks. Right? They called you duck back in high school. That's what's up. Thank you, 6 SC 20. I agree. Gary, Indiana. Right? Shout out to Gary, Indiana. You know, I really feel like that energy that's running through Chicago where people are throwing garbage cans at the popo and they wrecking downtown. Remember, he died downtown, right? The young man, I saw a clip last week, and I'm not going to show it on the show because I made a decision not to show our people bleeding out and dying um, on YouTube. Like, I don't want to participate in that. Actually, tonight, we're going to talk about the effects of that. We're going to do a brief run over of a lecture that I did called The Perceived Threat. That will be the prepping that I will do, that I'm going to begin to do leading up to the August 30th dissertation. It's not a lecture, it's a dissertation, right? And the day before that is a workshop. And what is that workshop? That workshop is for the creatives. That workshop is for the blurs. That workshop is for brothers and sisters in the South who have gifts and skills in the realms of what? Coding, in the realms of augmented reality, in the realms of virtual reality, in the realms of blockchain, in the realms of crypto, right? I'm calling out all of the blurs. We are working on having a hackathon. We're putting together a hackathon for the 29th. So it's going to be two pillars, right? This is the 2020 year. So it's all about the duality. So the 29th and the 30th is tentatively known as arts and sciences. So you're going to get the arts on the 29th. You're going to get performances by Kambata, performances by the Twin Pillars, performances by Amina, Laura, and then other special guests. And then on the 30th, you're going to get a lecture, a dissertation, right? You're going to get a dissertation. You're going to get some work. You might even get a mini doc, depending on, the way that the ball bounces. And it's going to be informative. It's going to tie in what it is that we see right now taking place in 2020 with the infiltration of the movement, right? The moving on up movement. I don't even want to give it a name because that it doesn't have a name. So on the 29th, we're going to give you edutainment, right? We're going to give you the arts, a hackathon. It might even be an art gallery showing. We're going to give you music. I'm talking about high frequency God hop. This is a LSD, DMT, shroom, all that kind of experience. And I'm talking about Kambata's albums. Keep that in mind. I'm not promoting any narcotics. I'm talking about the names of his album is DMT, LSD, Holy Ghost. Then you got the Scorpion King. You're gonna get a preview of new music. We're working on Cyrock right now. We got Amina from Oakland, Ghetto the Goddess. And she turns up West African style. So let's pull up. I want to see the brothers and sisters who are out there working through the matrix, doing your matrix thugizzle, your red and blue pill thugizzle. You know, you silver surfing through these networks and these airwaves. Yeah, Cambada is definitely fire. He's even more fire live. To be honest with you, he's even more fire live. So yeah, man. Um, we're gonna make something happen in Atlanta. The energy, the spirit is in Atlanta. You know, it has migrated. I'm talking about the egregor, right? Whatever the hovering spiritual body that hovered over Harlem and other places and times is very strong over Atlantis and places like Stone Mountain and West End, right? Are we still rocking with Brick the Foundation? Yep. Shout out to Brick the Foundation. I recorded Made for This with Cambada, the first song I ever did with Cambada, and Brick was with me. Brick was in the studio. You know what I'm talking about? And Brick is a heavy influence, and you know, in my whole, he was an influential artist to me. You know what I mean? Brick is the beast. Shout out to Brick, the Foundation. Shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Keith. You know, who influences my verses? Uh, I don't know. You know, I mean, Cambada definitely is an influencer. You know, Blue Pill is an influencer. When I hear some new Blue Pill, you know what I'm talking about? We got to talk about that WAP. Yeah, we're going to get into it. I'm going to get the mop, and then we're going to talk about that WAP. So, AA gives me inspiration. I love to hear AA spaz out. When I hear him on the Griselda intros, when I hear his work, you know, when I hear when he does his clips on Instagram and he incorporates music in there, I get divinely inspired. Jay Electronica used to inspire me back in the days when he was dropping. Yeah, you know, Bobby Schmurder coming home. That's what's up. They about to be spinning in Brooklyn if that's the case. You know, I hope he don't raise the murder rate. Yeah, you like VVS? I think that's what we'll perform that in Atlanta. I think we're gonna do VVS. So what's up with that WAP? Talk to me, ladies. Fire emoji is WAP fire. Is wet ass Punani fire. I'm not gonna be vulgar tonight because I know that there may be some young ones listening. So, you know, I'm gonna say remember there's a clean version of that on iTunes, right? There's a clean version of that on iTunes. Keep that in mind, right? Somebody said it's not fire. Free Gargamel. You got a beat for me? Yeah. If you got a beat for me, you should send it to my email. I'm gonna put my email right up here. I'm accepting all beats from aspiring producers. You know, I prefer the 90 BPMs. Um, but you know, we could mix it up. We could get on anything that speaks to. I like very dark beats. I like boom bap beats. Um, and I like beats that I could talk on and I could walk on. You feel me? So if that helps you anywhere, there goes. There goes. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. Let me write down my email. So we taking a vote. We want to know about WAP from a sister's perspective, because I got a DM today by a sister, right? By a sister, and she was like, "Yo, hold on, let's do a little survey. The song is trash, but Meg's bars were definitely better than Cardi's. Yes, we know who the lyricist is, right? You know, Kylie Jenner, you know what I'm saying? You see how you see the Luciferian aspect, how they soak up the energy, right? So um, you know, they give it right back to the Kardashian, the young one now. You feel me? Buju Banton exposed the energy. Yes, that is a must watch interview on Breakfast Club, even though I don't like Breakfast Club like that anymore, mind you. You know, they lost my grace and favor. But Buju was on there. He fire burned them. He gave them some brimstones. He finished cleaning them up. You know, they had to keep their face straight. And he just said what needed to be said without going on an apology tour. Because remember, they noose around his neck too. Yeah, Kylie got a baby by Travis Scott. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody said the set is fire on WAP. Witches and pitchforks. WAP. Oh, they doing remixes now. Weaponizing all playlists. You know how Cambada got LSD where he's breaking down LSD and he's rhyming it like he's like lunar solar duality. You know what I mean? Lakers, Supersonics, the you know, Dallas. You know what I mean? He didn't say that, but I'm just throwing that in. But now there's gonna be all you. Somebody should take that beat. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house, and do something with it, right? Look, there's some hoes in this house. Look,
Yeah, ho. Yeah, ho.
yeah, hoe.
These hoes, they butt us, they naked. Shaking their ass and shaking their titties. I see that box, just staring at box on and break them a 50. They showing they oats. Remember we living in cake.
I don't know why it's not going loud. Yeah, so somebody said that the visuals was fire. You know, I only seen it once. I only seen it once, and then somebody said the transgender background ain't nothing fire about that, right? Let's have a conversation about the energy, right? This on this planet, right? Yeah, somebody said that the beat is a Baltimore club classic. When I went to homecoming in 1994, we came down to I was Virginia Beach, right? Blue Pill will verify this. And Biggie was performing in Virginia, right? My dude Panna, he was one of the big willies around the way in Flatbush. He took us for the weekend to the beach. It was lit. And my duck and poop man, rest in peace, and all of them I think was out there. And that was the first time I heard that song. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. It's time for the percolator. It's time for the percolator. And they was going all the way in. I was like, okay. And we got exposed to go-go when we used to go to DC in 93. You know what I'm talking about? We used to go to DC to go boosting and whatnot back like in 93. So we used to see Rare Essentials, all of the go-go, you know, all of that stuff. We was in a train station. You know how they got Union Station? They had the train stations and they had the go-go band in the train station. I saw Nasir Jones performing in a train station in DC. What's messing with that? If anybody from DC know what I'm talking about, give me the fire emoji so these people don't think that I'm out here capping. I saw Nas in the 90s, bro, in the DC train station performing. It wasn't like he wasn't like the homeless people performing in the train station. He had an audience. Like they set it up. It must have been something dealing with the music industry or something. Right? There you go. Look, I'm not capping. It was homecoming. That's what it was. Howard homecoming weekend. I remember it clearly. It was the Howard homecoming weekend, and Nasir Jones was performing. I think the club was in the train station. It was it called the Icebox? Lit, bro. When I say litty, super lit. Junkyard band. Yeah, man. I loved me some go-go. I didn't know how to do the dance. Howard homecoming. Yeah. We was there for that. Oh my goodness. Nigga, that's what I be on shrooms trying to tap back into. The 90s feeling, bro. Like I'm trying to get back home. You know? I don't know what it was about those days, but nothing feels like it. Nothing feels like that. I gotta travel mad places around the world to even try to mimic the feeling. Shout out to Chicago Crypto Hustler. Yo, what's good in Chicago, my good brother? Talk black to me. Huh? I'll send you a link if you want to hop on and talk to us real quick about, the Chirac and what's going down out there. I said that it's the brother's energy. I'm feeling his spirit. I'm feeling a warrior spirit. Remember, it was underneath the moon of Aquarius with a heavy Aries influence, right? That was the warrior. That was the rebel. Okay? That was the warrior. That was the rebel. And there was mad explosions last week. There was some murder last week, right? Somebody even crossed the line with me and got put on my hit list last week. There was a lot of things that happened last week. You know what I mean? That moon was working. That moon was working. So I'm seeing it's more explosions. The volcano has erupted this Monday. The volcano has erupted. There's a few more fires, right? And everything is still obeying the lunar energy, as above, so below, right? Everything is still obeying the lunar energy. Rare Essential, Trouble Funk, Chuck Brown, Soul Searchers. And yeah, they had warehouse parties. I've been to a few. I've been to a few. Nothing was as authentic as the 90s. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. I don't know what it was about the tunnel era, but when I write my book, when we put that together, we're going to just take you back. We're going to visually take you back. I don't want to do a regular book. I want to do something that's interactive because technology is allowing us to do such, but we want to take you there. Maybe it'll be virtual so you could actually be in the tunnel and get searched by Spencer and the bouncers and watch somebody get 86th and witness a chain get snatched while Biggie is performing. Shit like that. Do I miss the polos? I damn sure do. You know what I mean? I'm bringing that back. Like I said, I got horses around me. Nature. That windbreaker sound. You remember that? That good windbreaker. So some of us were born in the 90s and y'all just like, look at these old heads always sitting there, you know, reminiscing like this is back in the days. And I'm like, no, we're not. We're just identifying a day and time that kind of feels like yesterday, but then feels like it was 100 years ago. And the life goes in a cycle. The way that these planets line up, it's a cycle. So the energy of 1994 is on this planet right now, so we can't help but to tap into the 90s energy. That's why them verses hit differently. Wait till they play somebody from the 94. I mean, the Wu-Tang, the RZA in the premiere battle was really leaning on that energy. Bounty Killer and Beanie Man, that was the energy that's the energy of 94. Celestially, right? According to the planetary alignments, the energy of 1994 is here. Uh, Ross Ben told you that on the show that we did in January. Go to the archives and check it out. Dive in. So the 94 energy, that's here right now. That's why that sound clash between Beanie Man and Bounty was lit. That's why all the Snoop songs was lit. More than DMX, because even though it's nostalgia on DMX's side, it's not that time. It's not 97. The alignment is not 97 energy. It's 94. And it's the 70s, right? We're gonna get into all of that in Atlanta. You don't get. Let me do this though, because I don't have all night. Let's go through this um little presentation that I have. You know what I mean? Cross colors was in effect. You damn right. Shout out to Cross Colors. Now, who remembers the perceived threat when I did this lecture a few months ago, right? And I showed, right? I had showed it that the summertime was gonna be a hot summer, a red summer, right? It was gonna be a time where they were going to bring back the persecution of black folk. Remember, keep in mind, I did the perceived threat when they was talking about COVID. There wasn't no George Floyd. There wasn't none of that taking place, right? It was cold. It was like early COVID before niggas had to wear masks. This is around the time they killed Pop Smoke, matter of fact, right? So, what is the perceived threat, Red Pill? I'm glad you asked. The perceived threat in August of 2020, right? Is anybody without a mask on? Look at the irony in the whole thing. Prior to that, if you had a mask on, you was the perceived threat. You couldn't walk into a bank with a mask on. You couldn't walk into a bodega with a mask on. You couldn't walk onto a train fully masked up. These niggas is tying bandanas around their mouth, right? So now on the flip of it, if you don't got your mask on, you are the perceived threat, right? Right now in Chicago, the black men with face tats, with tattoos and locks, they are the perceived threat. Right now in New York, white people on the Upper East Side and Upper West Side, they're like, yo, these niggas are a perceived threat. Walk through Harlem right now at night, and you'll see the perceived threat out there. You know what I mean? Gotham City, bro. It's Gotham City. Who from Harlem? Let's get the fire emoji if the shit turned into Gotham City. Huh? If it turned into what the Joker was showing you in the movie with the super rats, that's Takashi running around, clowning with a death wish. Super rats were running around New York City. Niggas was wearing masks on 42nd Street, the same way the Watchmen showed you that they were wearing masks, right? The Watchmen show, to be honest with you, I'm going to show you tonight, that had the most impact on the cultural reset than any of those shows. It's a lot of shows playing out right now, but the most impactful one, this dealing with this whole time, this whole frequency, I would say is Watchmen. From the black man being gone to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to niggas hanging from trees, to the KKK with the 7th Cavalry bringing back the Boogaloo Boys and the Proud Boys and the police being down with the KKK and all that. Yeah, all of that. Yeah, that part. That was all in there. To the Batiman. Remember, Hooded Justice was a Cheech. He was LBGT. He was Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? With the noose around his neck. He was what? Remember, he ran around with the noose around his neck. He was the black cadaver, the black man. He was Hiram. He was Hiram. So the new perceived threat, right? When when Snoop Doggy Dogg had got after Gail and Oprah, They got at that nigga so fast, all of his handlers, and they was saying, look, anybody who got something to say about Okra or Fail King, they drew a line in the sand and was like, fam, they off limits. You gonna be the perceived threat. When Ice Cube started wilding out, when Steven Jackson started wilding out because they killed his brother George Floyd, when Ice Cube started going on Twitter and putting all of that information out, they was like, yo, when Deshaun Jackson retweeted something about Hitler, they was like, fam. When Nick Cannon brought Professor Griff on his platform, they was like, hold up. When Louis Farrakhan went on the farm during the Criterion and went after Judaism like that, they said, hold on, what the fuck is going on here? Skirt, skirt. They pumped the brakes. And then what did they begin to do? They began to separate and to show you that there's a line to be drawn between these acceptable Negroes and the perceived threat. So the perceived threat has took on new connotations, right? The perceived threats, there are groups of them now. Those conscious Negroes, like Professor Griff, or those other ones who want to talk crazy about white folk. They not Black Lives Matter. They Black Lives Splatter. They're not blue, they're not safe. They're not woke. They're those conscious Hotep Negro. Right? That part. The perceived threat. Okay? So in the perceived threat, we showed you right around the time when Ahmaud Arbery got killed, right? We said, hold on, they bringing back the Trayvon energy, right? I know a ritual when I see one, right? I know a ritual when I see one. When they killed Ahmaud Arbery, the brother that was jogging in Georgia, right? The citizens, before the police, the citizens, the militia types, before the popos show up, the citizens do the arrest and kill. That's what George Zimmerman represented. He is a Spanish Jew. He is the quote unquote, Jesuit standing army, the Roman Catholic, he's the Roman Catholic mulatto standing army that stood against the Moors, that stood against all Africans ever since they conquered us. That's who they use. That's their buffer system. That's what he represented, right? And I'm like, hell to the nah. They bringing up that Trayvon energy, right? Then I reminded the family that the ritual that they did to bring the Trayvon shit into the place that it is, because Trayvon Martin's death ritual, it wasn't him just getting killed. It was a whole ritual. It was a grand ritual. Um, it was a ritual in front of the world that put niggas underneath a spell that I'm sorry to say they still under to this day. So they seeded it, right? They seeded, because this is how rituals work. Rituals work with seeding, okay? Because they created an egregor, they created a thought system, they created a mind state, they created a entity. When they cooked that young man's spirit, they spirit cooked him and lined them up. Wait till I show you his death photo, right? Straight Masonic. Zimmerman's father being a Mason, uh, Trayvon Martin's father being a Mason through Prince Hall. So they seeded the whole ritual in 2012 with Coney, with the Invisible Army, right? When they had all of these celebrities say, yo, we got to go and kill Coney and all of these black kids, right? All of these child soldiers, remember, because if they going after Coney, they going after his army, right? So they were sanctioning. I'm talking about Jay-Z, Bill Clinton, Gail, and Okra, a whole bunch of celebrities. They were like, "Yo, go and kill Coney. He's a tyrant. He deserves to die, and his child army does too." So they were planting and seeding the energy of the child soldier. In America, that's called a driller, right? Around the same time that they were rolling out a child soldier in Chirac by the name of Keith Mozart, right? I forgot. His name is Chief Keef, okay? They were giving you through Interscope Chief Keef, right? Who brought a very dark energy into the game. And he represented a historic gang war. Candyman energy. Remember, Candyman is from Chicago, Cabrini Green, right? That drilling energy, that's Candyman energy, right? So this young Aquarius, right? This light right here, young Trayvon. I love you, young brother. You know what I mean? Your spirit has been, I'm talking about taken from you and used in so many nefarious ways. But I promise you, I already know that you in the ancestor realm working these niggas and you cooking. You and the other ancestors who have been lynched, who have been murdered, who have been taken from us wrongly in the name of ritual. So you can't tell white people to have karma because they're doing rituals. What the fuck? Did you have karma when you killed that goddamn rooster? When you niggas was trying to get protected from driving with birds in your trunk and shit like that? This is their ritual. Look, lynching is an extrajudicial execution carried out by a mob, often by hanging, but also by burning at the stake or shooting in order to punish an alleged transgressor, right? They just shot the boy in the back of the head in Chicago. That's why them people is out there rioting. You know what I'm talking about? In the back and in the head, bro. It is related to other means of social control that arise in communities. Remember, it is related to other means of social control. They're not just lynching. They're not showing you George Floyd getting killed on film. They're not just showing you Trayvon Martin's body. They're not just showing you these stories and whatnot and broadcasting them. They are carrying out social control, bro. They're carrying out social engineering. They're carrying out a fear campaign unlike any campaign that they've utilized the power of social media and social networks. They've galvanized the hypnotizing, traumatizing, right? And the neurological tricknology that exists inside of a very powerful weapon, which is media. And they always told you that. Media. What the fuck you think social media is? It's still media. What you think your Instagram is? What you think this YouTube is? What do you think Facebook is? It's the media, but it's social. Now it's social media. So check this out. Riddle me this. If 5,000 people saw black people, if they saw that woman hanging right there, sometimes it was 300 of them, right? And they created the postcards and they got the book called Without Sanctuary, right? Without Sanctuary, right? And they show all of the hangings. They show all of the lynchings. They show all of the torture. And they were sending that around like what? They were sending that around to each other like what? Like postcards. Picnic. Pick a nigga. And they were sending around postcards to Europe and into other states in America, right? And hundreds, if not thousands, of white people were able to see the lynchings of our people, thus devaluing our value of life, right? On a global scale where people thought that they could just do us like this. When prior to this, it was never a green light on our people. You couldn't run down on us. Are you serious? You couldn't run down on us in the 1800s, bro. You couldn't run down on us like that in the 1700s. Don't let these textbooks get you fucked up and lie to you, right? So, guess what's happening today with the new form of media called social media? Let's think about it. I could go to Google Trends right now and I could put the word George Floyd in Google Trends. Before Alexa became hardware, Alexa was a website that you went to get statistics. I could have went on Alexa and showed you how many times people watched the George Floyd video. I could show you how many times people viewed the murder picture of Trayvon Martin when he was laid out like the quote unquote tower picture in the tarot, right? Millions of times. So if millions of people watched a murder, right? Philandro Castile's video, his lynching was viewed by millions of people. Now think about this. There's 18,000 people that fill up Madison Square Garden. That's the total. 18.5 for the Barclays. The other places where the Riptide and them niggas play college football, nigga, that's 60,000. Well, think about what 1 million look like inside of a stadium. And think about what 10 million look like marching in the streets. And then think about what 100 million look like marching in the streets. Can you pull up a protest or a march where 100 million people is in the streets? I could pull up a video where a black man got killed and 100 million people watched it though. So what's the difference? They're witnessing our lynchings on scales that is unfathomable to what we were being the people were being accessed to just 20 years ago. Family, are you fucking serious? And it's about 100 of them right now. It's about 100 of them post Trayvon Martin. Case in point, why I called the lecture the Trayvon Martin factor. There is a factor at play. Okay? There is a factor at play. This was the Trayvon Martin factor, right? This was from February the 23rd, 2012. You could find it in the archives on Google and whatnot. Go and listen to the prophecy. Everybody on this show was prophetic. Everybody. It was an open forum discussion about the many factors surrounding this event, right? So this was a grand ritual, a grand lynching that put our people in a place of mourning. It put our people in a place of fear. It put our people in a mindset post Obama of this so-called white supremacy and black people being lynched and victimized and shot down, hunted, preyed upon, and basically, targeted because it was taking place before, but this put it on a new level. There goes Kobe, there goes Nipsey, there goes the Trayvon Martin family. This whole energy, all of this energy is related. All of this energy is tied in. It is quantum entangled. Okay? Quantum entangled. Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein, they get their kickoff into consciousness. They get their kickoff into consciousness or wokeness for that matter. This is the entry point of Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein. It started with Khalif Browder, to be honest with you, and then they signed up to tell Trayvon Martin's story. So he is entangled in the Trayvon Martin ethos in the story. Jay-Z is entangled in the story because he was the one who picked up the documentary alongside Harvey Weinstein, and they were the ones that pushed the story and whatnot. And that was around the time when Zimmerman threatened Jay-Z and Beyonce's life, and they had to go and get legal protection. They had to get an order of protection against George Zimmerman, and George Zimmerman got arrested because he threatened their producer's life. He was sending them threatening messages. He was doing what is known as terroristic threats and whatnot, and they locked his ass up. This was because Jay-Z was doing a documentary about Trayvon Martin. Jay-Z with all of the hitters. Jay-Z with the sliders. Jay-Z with the banger bangers. Jay-Z's with gang gang. Right? But they had to go to them people to protect them. right? He had to go to the popo, and he didn't green light. He didn't say, yo, you know what? George Zimmerman is a op. You know what I'm saying? He said it in a rhyme eventually, but man, I don't know. Cough up a lung. You know what I mean? The niggas in Marcy will slide on each other in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. So let's continue. This is the beginning of the color wars, right? This is the beginning of the color wars, not the Gullah wars, the continuance of the Gullah wars, the color wars in 2013, right? This is a part of the Trayvon Martin factor, but this time they're dealing with the colors: gray, right? Bland, sterling, right? Brown, the color wars. The color wars. Kamani Gray out of Flatbush, right? Out of he wasn't out the Flossie, right? But he was out of the he was right out of Bobby Schmurder in them hood. Kamani Gray, they shot him in his back 7 times. He was a blood, he was affiliated, he was lit, right? He was active for that matter. And they started the color wars. They killed the Gray. They started the color wars with Kamani, and they turned up Flatbush as a result of that. That was the first riots in New York City. The shit that you're gonna see, that you might see before the summer is out. The continuance of. Look, third night of rioting in Brooklyn after police shooting. This riot gave not birth, but this riot, matter of fact, this riot seeded. It's seeded, going back to the seeds. Yeah, he was the one to smack Pop Smoke. I got to put that in there as well because, like I said, everything is connected. So Kamani Gray is the one in the video that smacks Pop Smoke. And he was the one who did what? That Chappelle and that smack heard around the world did what? It created Pop Smoke. It created Pop Smoke. Because what do some of us do? Some of us are phoenixes and we rise out of our ashes. You know what I mean? When a motherfucker cross me and do something crazy, it make me stronger. It just make me better, right? It just makes me a better person. It just makes me go harder. I use it as jet fuel. So what did he do? What did Pop Smoke do? He went and got tough. He went and got tough as a result of that. He went and got his weight up, and he went and protected himself because the young boy smacked pure flames out of him, right? So the messianic force, right? Getting back to the Judas and the Messiah, the messianic force that is Pop Smoke, right? Mr. Bashar Jackson, right? His name is Bashara. What was his full name? Somebody who knows Pop Smoke's full name, put it in the chat, right? He had a messianic force. So one of the things that you'll see in the hero's journey of the messiahs, especially the ghetto messiahs or the hood messiahs or the trench messiahs, right, is that things happen to people that cross them. Okay? Things happen to people that cross them. The ancestors will take care of them. There's a lot of people in their wakes who basically cross them or harm them. They get taken out. Right? Somebody said Pop Smoke. Pop got smoked. He made his transition, you know, as everyone will, right? He made his transition like everyone will, and it's unfortunate that he went out the way that he did go out. And he left out, you know, as an immortal, right? So Baraka Jackson, Bashar, Baraka, right? Jackson. That was his name. So soon after he Pop Smoke, this young man gets killed by the police, right? And they was turned up. His name is Kiki. This is Kiki. You know what I'm saying? You might hear some of the drillers and whatnot. They get disrespectful. And even Pop Smoke said he smoked on Kiki. right? And people deemed that as a violation. And they was like, son, you said that you smoked on Kiki and whatnot, the same way that they said FBG Duck said that he smoked on his ops. And when you say that, when you speak of the dead, they say that you must want to meet the dead. You know what I mean? Because I told you before, it's Candyman season. You say it enough, that nigga pop up. So it is a dichotomy that goes a lot deeper. When we have this conversation, we'll talk more about the occult realm, because that's what we're dealing with, is the occult, death, the realm that the Scorpio dwells in. We're gonna, we you have to, you got to dive a little bit deeper past the surface to understand how some of these things work. But I will put both of them on the altar, Pop and Kamani Gray. He was shot at 11 times, right? Then you got Mike Brown, right? He gets killed in 2014. Remember, this is 13, March 18, 2013, right? Then Mike Brown is the 14th, right? You remember this with this dude who said he felt like this man was like, they had him in the street for 4 hours. This is the launch of Black Lives Matter, because George Soros bought the media block for 48 hours, to whereas he was able to do any type of coverage of this whole report that he was doing. And he was able to introduce you to who? Black Lives Matter, in which Darren Sills said that was a straight media industry plant. It was an op. He was so fed up that he smacked the dude with the blue vest in the face, gave him an open hand smack, because he said that he was faking the funk, right? What's his name? What's the dude with the blue vest with the broken wrist? Talk black to me. Yeah, my eye is jumping. I hear you niggas. Talk black to me. You know what I'm talking about? Um, Ferguson, Missouri, August 9th, right? It was the anniversary of it, 2014. They had this young man in the middle of the street for 4 hours, right? That's the disrespect. Okay. And Kamala Harris, right? And this brought a lot back about the because remember, this was the police situation, right? Trayvon Martin is Zimmerman, right? Ah man, I'm gonna talk about that 5-year interview on Vlad in a minute, bro. Oh my goodness, man. Los Angeles already domed 3 dudes from Brooklyn. Yeah. What are the 3 dudes? Because Biggie died in Los Angeles. Pop Smoke died in Los Angeles. And who else? Oh, D. Ray McKinnison. Yeah, D. Ray. D. Ray. Mike Brown was born May 1996, and his killer was born May 1986. Exactly. When you put both of their charts on top of each other, when you put both of their charts on top of each other, then you'll be able to see the magic. Then you'll be able to see how this man was probably born to kill that man, right? It's in the charts that he was to be his executioner, right? So this is a classic episode, psychotropic drills, the aesthetic death, right? Where we were telling you that Brooklyn was gonna be lit this summer, right? Fear, fear of a Blackamoor Messiah, the pandemic of fear, not just the coronavirus, the pandemic of fear, right? False expectations appearing real, fear, the releasing of cortisone, the crippling of oneself, okay? So I'm giving the context of the buildup of 2020, how we found ourselves in this place where the communities have been infiltrated through the same avenues and same roads that they've infiltrated the movements before. you know, okay? So then we had the police shooting in pink houses, right? Let's deal with the colors. These are the color wars. So in the pink houses, on November the 21st, 2014, a rookie cop who was Asian, right? His name is Peter Liang, 27-year-old. He shot a young man named Akaya Gurley, right? Akaya Gurley. He's 28 and he got killed. Okay? So that had a lot of people in New York on edge. And then December 21st, 2014, this is exactly a month later, right? So look how the ancestors work. A rookie officer shoots a total innocent man in pink houses. November 21st. Then December 21st, 2014, two cops get gunned down in their squad car. One is Asian, right? One is Asian. And another one is Hispanic, right? The coward vowed to put wings on pigs and twisted revenge for Garner and Ferguson. So Eric Garner and Mike Brown and Ferguson, right? They said that he was revenging them, meaning that he was martyring them, right? Because when you do a revenge killing in biblical terms, for people who don't want to say the M word, my friends, that's martyr, right? So Ishmael Brinsley, and I want to say salute to his family and to his sister. I was in communication because I had put up a post and I was told that I was putting the brother's wrong name out there, and that's his right pronunciation. So to his family, I say Ashe, right? They suffered a loss of a life, you know, and this brother has a story that I'm sure needs to be told. Okay. So the day before that happened, right, in New York, right, on December the 20th, look at this. On December the 20th, 2014, I'm following the timeline. Supporters of New York Police Department marched in the streets Friday night wearing hoodies with the phrase, I can breathe, thanks to the NYPD. The rally came as protestants of the police killer of Eric Garner and Michael Brown, right? Remember the two gentle giants that they were cooking, the two gentle giants, right? The two gentle giants, Mike Brown, Eric Gardner. Okay? Look at this. Red, I was in ATL this weekend, first time visit, did shroomies and hit the botanical garden. ATL is truly a magical place. Thanks for the game. Yes, ATL is Atlantis. It is sacred grounds. Shooting near the White House. You damn right. They had to. He had to. They had to run Donald Trump off of the quote unquote the microphone. Yes, let's not forget Griffin. Michael Griffin was the first sacrifice, one of the first sacrifices in New York in the 80s. You know what I mean? That they sent them up and whatnot, and then they basically desecrated his memory and all kind of this stuff. Like, so let's just speak about the ancestors and the way that the spirit works, so we don't take this personal. So on December 20th, they was showboating, right, and being very arrogant, saying that they can't breathe. So the next day, exactly a year after this man's murder in front of his pregnant girlfriend, I believe, or the child, right? You have that. So that leads me to believe that And then in New York in 2020 in February, this is the beginning of New York getting turned up. A gunman ambushes New York police twice in 12 hours. He ran in a precinct and started letting it go. Right? So we can't breathe. I can't breathe. You know, Voltron, right? The forming of Voltron, making the call, right? Making the call in the beginning of the year for the forming of Voltron, saying that that's the only thing that's really going to get us to where we need to go, right? We don't have nobody else but each other. We got to come together. We got to not hold hands because we grown and none of us is moist. Well, some of us are moist, but not all of us. But for the ones that are out here and we really about doing something for the people and standing on principle and standing on purpose and standing on character, especially those of y'all in the different schools of thought and discipline, like the RBG, Five Percenters, the NOI, the MSTA, the Moors. And I'm not just talking about those inside the temples or inside the organizations. I'm speaking of those with it in your heart, the Nile Valley, Kemetic civilization, or everybody with knowledge of self, right? Those of us with knowledge of self, will we fare any differently? Will we lose any credibility by working as a cohesion? Would things work slower if we didn't all put all hands on deck? What if we were able to combine our resources? What if we were able to combine our armies? What if we were able to combine, you know, our quote unquote, our scholars and the intellect that we all have? What about that? Right? So look at this 2014, Black Lives Matter, right? Millions marching in New York City all the way in 2014. Lest we forget. Lest we forget. They've been here, right? What happened at that march? You know what I'm talking about? What happened at that march in 2014? What about the one in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19? But y'all coming back out in 20? There's no institutions, there's no hospitals, there's no colleges, there's no online courses, there's no shooting range, there's no shelter, there's no farms, there's no real estate, there's no estates, there's no armed services, no security services, no private security firms. I mean, come on. There's no Shark Tank. Where is and what is and how is that possible? How is it possible? They've been active since 2013. It's a lot of calf muscles. You know what I'm talking about? Shit popping through the yoga pants. But that's about it. And the people don't care. They don't have no problem with that. They don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't understand. This was our early coronavirus research in February, right? What were we doing? We were preparing our audience to get busy in business. Look, coronavirus exposes businesses' dependency on China. From toys to Teslas, China's coronavirus disrupts flow of global business. We were like, yo, we got to start doing local things because global business, we're going to have to pivot. Go buy some Zoom stocks. Go buy some stocks in digital assets because we have to pivot out of the physical realm. The clothing is going to take a hit. Apparel and retail is dead. Brick and mortar, look, click and order. We like that's gonna take a hit, family. Right? Magic City is live on the gram. Thanks for that information. You know what I mean? I'm like the physical, the drop shipping, um, all of them shipments from China. I was supposed to go over there in October. All of that is dead. So we was like, let's pivot into some digital stuff, right? Here the brother go. He's a Cancer, right? We showed you back there, right? That these two had an entanglement, right? And this man was jealous. In my humble opinion, Takashi was jealous of Pop Smoke's rise, right? Um, his authenticity, and he's a troll. So I'm sure that he didn't want nobody to rise up in his place. But the brother rose up and took his position, rightfully so, as the vocal point in New York, the New York gang culture, right? Because that's a real thing, okay? And it permeates through the music industry because everybody in the music industry is gang affiliated in New York, right? Cardi B is a blood. Young and May is a blood. Takashi 69 is a blood. Pop Smoke is a Crip. Uh, who else was affiliated? Everybody that you see, this, Casanova's a blood. This whole city, the Dipset, Jim Jones, that's the big homie. That's Bloods. So the majority of the people being pushed by Ebro and moist ass Peter Rosenberg and all of these people who act like they're K or like Charlemagne and these niggas, and they're so concerned and whatnot. All of these people are gang members, and if they push a gang member, they're pushing a gang culture, right? Because there's millions of people that are being influenced. It's not just the rappers. The rappers are just figureheads, but you're seeing the effects of it in the streets, right? So Bobby Shmurda he's considered to be the father of the drill movement in quote unquote New York and Brooklyn, to be exact. Brooklyn drill, which is young black guards getting their fucking tops blown off and babies getting shot and women getting drilled and whatnot. And then the whole and young men not being able to ride around safely, right? Not being able to function, not being able to collaborate, not being able to do outdoor shows, block parties. Like, it's a war going on outside, and the record labels are funding it. Look at the Fabio interview on Vlad TV. I didn't know the dude was so, you know, I don't know. I don't know. You know. So Bobby Shmurda is not coming home on a positive note. Bobby Shmurda got beef with the same people who, he got beef with the Blickies. The wars between the Woos and the Chos, the Spinners and the Twirlers. So no, I don't feel that he's gonna come home on some kumbaya, and I would hope that he would, but that's not the energy that I see right now in New York. New York is turned. New York, there's a gang war. They out there spinning the block for real, right? And this dude right here he's riding around with a death wish. Takashi 69 is riding around with the federales. He's riding around with police and retired police provoking young men, black men in particular, to do what? To take felony chances and become either victims of homicide or to get locked up. He's out there provoking people, right? He's out there provoking people to get at him. And he's putting his security guard's life in danger. I would not want to work for this dude because he comes outside And I don't think that he's paying those security guards enough money to be on those suicide missions that he's on. Right? So let's continue. What Pop Smoke meant to New York, right? Like I said, messianic energy. You could judge all you want. Messianic energy, right? There they go lining them up with their little publications. Messianic energy. Not to say that he's your Messiah, but his messianic energy is the fact that there's certain people who could boost the crime rate just by talking, just by rapping. They could boost the murder rate. They could boost the crime rate. They could boost the success rate. They could boost the sex rate. Like Cardi B could boost the wet rate. She could boost the sex rate. She could boost the baby making activities. We're at this point on the planet. And Meg the Stallion. They have messianic energy, and it might not be used for what people want it to be used for or directed in the way that people want it to be directed in. But nonetheless, nevertheless, that does not take away the fact that they are in possession of said energy. And that energy, I could show you how that energy is at work all day, every day. So how does a Pop Smoke even gain any relevancy in a conscious person's life? Well, don't you got ops, right? If your op is your lower self, go and drill him. Do a spin a block and drill your lower self. Don't you got ops? You know what I mean? Don't ain't you supposed to knock the statue down of the people who made your people descendants of slaves? You don't want no smoke. So somebody said Pop Smokes looks 50. He's a man child. You know what I mean? When we was growing up, niggas 13 they looked real old. When they was 20, they looked like how Pop Smoke looked right there. He's a man child. You know what I mean? There's people like that. It's called man childs. Shout out to George Jackson. That's what Black August is about. The man child. You know what I mean? Shout out to George Jackson, Jonathan. Shout out to Matulu. Shout out to all of the prisoners, the political prisoners. Shout out to the BGF, the Black Guerrilla family, all of the soldiers behind the bars. I'm going to read from this book. I want to read from this book. I don't know if it's going to be tonight, right? It might be in my next Third Eye Thursday because, you know, we'll be promoting up into the end of August. But I'm going to read from this book. This book is banned behind the wall. You can't have this book, right? Yeah, Tyson was a man child. There you go. Mike Tyson was a man child. You know what I'm talking about? 50 Cent was a man child. Oh, they say that he looked like 50. Oh, okay, yeah. He do look like 50 Cent, and he looked like he 50. You know, he didn't look like he was 20. Maybe not 50, I'm just saying. But he did look old for his age. But he's a man child. Right? So look, Snoop Dogg says he never wanted harm to come to Gail. And he was raised way better than that. Okay, well, shit. It didn't look like that in your verses. The bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks and all of that. But nah, we know Snoop loved the women and Snoop loved the babies, and Snoop is a good brother. I like Snoop Lion. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna stunt on Snoop Doggy Dogg. Like, that's one of my influences when I was younger. I had his poster up. I was down with the Dog Pound. You know what I mean? And lyrically, he is a monster. And he has a very uncle like, you know, a Snoop Dogg energy, and that's Unc. That's Unc, and he grew up around pimps. So I'm not here to judge, but I'm just saying I'm glad that he's not pimping the women anymore. I'm glad that he is projecting more of a positive balance. I'm about balance. We don't want these niggas to be, you know, Teletubbies and whatnot, rolling around in the grass and whatnot. And, you know, we're not looking for people to be angels. We're just looking for the balance, because before you leave this planet, you're only subjected to have balance. That's it. But in order to be a preacher, sometimes you got to be a pimp first. How can you measure yourself if you have not come from the bottom? How could you measure yourself? How do you know? How do you know where you are going if you don't know where you came from? So, a lot of our people who are sitting down listening to me right now, to this show, Melanin Mondays, some of us have come from some troubling beginnings and for some dark places, right? And for some dark places. And I've seen balance in his demonstration, right? Name an album that impacted the world like Doggy Style. Huh, I don't know. Oh, you just got that joint? Well, dig into the book. We can have a book reading together because this book is fire. Black Prison Movements is definitely super fire. It's deeper than what the cover just says. It's essays from brothers behind the wall, but they're giving you the real, the real, the real. And if you out here on your Fred Hampton, if you on these front lines, if you out here putting your life on the line, you should train your brain. You should train your brain to prepare itself in case you were ever kidnapped and held hostage. You should train your brain to be able to meditate in a room that's the size of a box with no windows, no lights, nothing. You should be getting on that type of mind and that type of time. And Eliza said it. She said it quite exactly correct. Sometimes you got to be a goddess before a goddess. You know what I'm talking about? Last time I heard it was Goddess Boulevard on the way to Goddess Empire or Goddess Avenue on Goddess Boulevard. Before you got there, you had to get off on the exit of Goddess Boulevard. You know, that's a clean thought. She's working her way up. A divine harlot. What did the Mooney twins call the hoe? A heaven on earth. Talk back to me. Hold on. Amen. Hallelujah. HOE, heaven on earth. And then Bobby Hemmett call it divine whore. You know what I'm talking about? You know when that wop is divine. You know, a bruja. Yeah, they gave you that. They gave you the divine whore with Belquist out of American Gods, right? The Queen of Sheba. Did you remember that? She's the divine whore. She swallowed somebody in her cooch, in her box, in her what they call tesseract. You remember that episode? It was the first episode of American Gods, season 1. They didn't waste no time. He ate them up. That's right. That's the real snapper. You know what I'm talking about? That's the real snapper. So look, we got WAP and we got Erica Badu selling punani spray. So what you gonna say? Who's right and who's wrong? You got WAP, but you got Erica Badu selling punani spray. So what's popping? I'm not judging either or. Because my question is, where's the balance? You got Nicki, no, you got Cardi and Meg, right? They brought two divine feminine principles together. Well, goddamn it, let me hear Rhapsody and Cyrock then. Give me the balance. I want to hear Beyonce and Cyrock, Black is King remix. Give me the balance. So when I see the whole WAP thing coming in, I'm like, well, good, that's good. Because everybody got to start in their lower chakra. It starts on the red chakra. You got to come through me first. You know what I'm talking about? What? Good luck. You got to come through me, and sometimes it's not that easy to come through. But you got to come through the red chakra. You got to come through the root chakra. So the root chakra is wet ass punani. You're gonna get it. She said, tingle the thing in the back of her throat. You're gonna get it raw. You're gonna get it raw. You're gonna get it. Yeah, You're gonna get it unadulterated because we in the dog days of summer, and Sirius is a bitch, right? Somebody said we don't need the red chakra right now. I mean, I beg to differ. We're in August. Sirius is rising. If you're in Atlanta or Atlantis, the Sirius rising is taking place right now. Right? No, what's today? The 10th? It's taking place on the 11th. Right? She was speaking for the dark goddesses. You know? Beyonce's new video is ill. Yeah, it is. Shout out to Blitz the Ambassador, the director, who I know personally. Right? So at the end of the day, my good family, my cosmic family, it's about alchemy. If not, you're gonna be the victim. Either you're the alchemist or you're the talcumist. Can't have it both ways. Either you the alchemist or you the talcumist. You talcumex. You're a victim. And I'm not here to be a victim. We're gonna take that energy and flip it. Like I said, if any rapper, any sister who is a spitter, right? Because I don't say female rappers. There's no such thing as that. It's just a rapper, or you got bars, or you a spitter. I'm not a rapper. I'm a spitter. You know what I'm talking about? That's I'll identify myself as a spitter. So if there's two of you that want to line up some energy and some bars and whatnot, we not telling you to be all we saying be you, do you. Let's see what you got. Balance out that energy. You know, they gave us the raw version. They gave us a straight no chaser demonstration about how they like to be basically how what they want from a man. That's what they told men, what they want from a man, and they wasn't holding back. So I want to hear what the goddesses want from the gods on that same beat. There's some heaven on earths in the house, you know? I mean, it is what it is. Because, the world is listening. Remember, the fact that them two women spoke, the whole world was listening. What they talking about? What do what mean? What that mean? Oh my goodness. Girl, did you see them too? Did you see Kylie? Right? Somebody said them chicks is childish, Chuck E. Cheese. That's right. That's right. I want to see two goddesses on heavy goddess energy and 8K, right? Have the set look lit like that. Cause niggas got budgets. Y'all got conscious people out here with fucking American Express cards. Them niggas got unlimited cards. You know what I mean? Y'all niggas need to go get a loan and do a video that look like Hype Williams did it. And then we'll promote that. We'll push that. We'll get that out there. We'll get you your streams. You make instrumentals. Well, Rock City Hot Boy, come on down. The price is right. You know what I mean? Send me some beats. You know what I mean? And send me the contract with it too. Cause we need to get that beat. We need to make sure we have some kind of ownership or some points. You know how that thing go. Just make sure that we good. Yeah, Kylie was the handler, right? So they bring in a lot of people back into the fold of the sex slavery, child sex slavery, you know, uh, Epstein's Island, you know, Maxine Grizel, because Maxine, Epstein's girlfriend, could have been Kylie Jenner in the video. That kind of energy, she was like the Maxine, the rich socialite, madam. Wasn't that who Maxine was? Right? Brothel energy. I'm talking about Maxine Griselda, not Griselda, whatever. What is her name? Jazine Maxwell. She right? Coming out of what is it, a billionaire father or a millionaire father, she would be in the same role that Kylie Jenner was in that video. She's the madam, right? And who is Jeff Epstein? Is who? Jeff Epstein is the quote unquote, he's the sugar, he's the white zaddy, he's the sugar daddy, he's Daddy Warbucks, he's the pimp, right? He's the zaddy. He lines you up. He's lines you up for what? What does he line you up for? Ghislaine Maxwell. And her pops was Mossad. Yeah, Joey Badass got a dope song. I like that. The Light. Right? So her pops, who is Mossad, helped her with the whole espionage, and he helped her set up blackmail operations, and he helped her set up how to gain power through doing what? Utilizing sex, prostitution, sex slaves, uh, orgies, people with deviant sexual tastes and whatnot, pedophilia, all of these things she would had her hand in, but she and Epstein got rich off of extorting these people who have to satisfy their appetites because they are part of Luciferian, Typhonian, you know, ritual, right? Mother Teresa was, yeah, they was all down with that. They was all down with that. Yeah, Chris Jenner is a madam. She's a madam. I mean, it's hands down at the end of the day. She's a madam. But instead of sex workers, they're in the beauty industry. Instead of being sex workers, she created what is known as the beauty industry with her daughters. And they monetize that with reality shows. The little girl is a billionaire off of makeup. And her whole face is not even, she don't even got her face no more. She got a whole new face. And they buying makeup like that's what got her looking like that. And she got a face job. This shit is like face off. She's like Nicolas Cage, bruh. Chicago is rioting right now. That's right. Cardi B said it was Chris Jenner's idea to put Kylie in a video. Yeah, like I said, they're feeding off of this base energy right now, right? They're feeding off of this quote unquote, um, it could almost be seen as a distraction, you know? You said why they rioting? They killed the unarmed black man yesterday. I think he's 20 years old, right? They killed him. So they rioting in Chicago. They turned up. So they turned up, rightfully so, all around America. And they really started turning up during this summer. And a lot of this energy is at play. The spirit of the slaves, the spirit of the ones who were sold into bondage and trafficked and whatnot, the Indians who crossed the Indians, who lost the Indians. You know, all of this is working right now. Okay? The same place that they had the earthquake in Carolina, Virginia border and whatnot. Look at all of the slaves that were deported. Look at all of these shorelines and whatnot of the deportations and whatnot of our brothers and sisters. And you know, the selling. Look at the Carolinas. Look how lit it was. Look at the numbers, right? The Carolinas and Georgia, Maryland and Virginia. Look how booming it was, right? Look how booming the slave trade was. You know, sex trafficking, because that's what they were doing. They were sex farming our people and they were sex trafficking, organ harvesting, and human trafficking. Let's call it for what it is. For everybody that's so fucking excited that Donald Trump is chasing down sex trafficking, nigga, this was sex trafficking. What the fuck are you talking about? This was sex trafficking. This is human trafficking. The reason why it's booming like that in America is because they got these statues up that celebrate the sex traffickers and the human traffickers. They're not Confederates. They're not. Stop giving them those names. You know what I mean? Before they was that, and after the war, they were sex traffickers, and they was breeders and whatnot, and they were traders and whatnot, and they were human traffickers, and they were quote unquote pedophiles. And not only were they pedophiles, they were cannibals. And not only were they cannibals, they were murderers. And not only were they murderers, they were rapists and they were robbers. And not only were they that, they were deceptive and they were deceiving. Are you serious? You know what I'm saying? So this energy is still prevalent on these grids, the morphogenetic grid and whatnot. This energy is still prevalent in the DNA of the people who come from the ancestors of the ones that they did this to. Right? The counter revolution of 1776, slave resistance and origins of the United States of America, the Tuscarora War, Indian settlers in a fight for the Carolina colonies. Go and get these books, y'all. Go and dive into these books and get a better understanding of how these things went down. The Yamasee War, right? The Yamasee War from 1715 to 1717. Yeah, where's those movies at on Tyler Perry's network? I got a glimpse of what they're showing on BET Go or BET Plus. It's horrific. It's horrific what they doing with these Negro these Chitlin Circuit soap operas and shit like that. The shit that Tyler Perry is doing on his goddamn property, right? But they're not giving you no history. They're not giving you no heritage. They're not giving you no context. They're not giving you anything that you need to get your ass off of your knees so you stop being a Negro. They're not giving you no strength. He's just causing more confusion. We need to see depictions of what the fuck happened and who did it happen to and why did it happen and when did it happen. So our people who are asking for some answers. I remember when I was lost. I remember when I had mad holes in the story missing. I was out there floating. I was confused and I was lost. I was in limbo. So I know what it is. The people want their answers because their spirit is calling for it. Man, know thyself. People want to know pieces of the story. They want to know what happened, why it happened, and who did it happen to. Right? And who did it happen to? Rising power to Sandra Bland. Right? Another part of the color wars. Bland. You got Mike Brown. You got Akia Gurley. You got Kamani Gray. And then Sandra Bland. Color wars. Not the Gullah wars. The color wars. Right? Where they going after the colorable people because we crayons and we not protected. You know what I'm talking about? Me included. I'm not separating myself. We crayons. They got us as colorable people. Civilitaire mortus. You're not going to get a guilty verdict. You can't stop these people because you're not coming at it the right way. Right? They're showing you. The great divine speaks through signs. Somebody is showing you. It's a color game. This is a color war. The white people, it's not even a such thing as a white people. What the fuck is a white people? They created that. That's a social construct. These are Germans. These are Irish. These are Italians. These are Russians. These are the Franks. You know what I'm talking about? That's who this is. These are Catholics. These are Protestants. These are the Portuguese. These are Romans. These are Greece. These are Greeks, my nigga. These are Greco-Romans. These are Indo-Europeans. These are Slavs. That's who they are. These are Mamelukes. The Janissaries. That's who these are. These are the Turks. Nigga, these are the Pilgrims. These are the Neanderthals. These are troglodyte Negroes. Or the troglodyte niggas. Like Taj Tariq taught us. That's who they are. They're not Europeans, bro. And even to say that they're French or that they're the Spaniards, that's even a misnomer because they're not even that. They are tribes and families that come from those areas because those areas are melanated. The people who have the rights to those lands, the heads that are on top of those coat of arms, those are them niggas got locks and fucking uh a corn puff or China bunks, corn rolls, China bumps, Bantu knots. What are you talking about? There's no milky hair. There's no silky hair in the coat of arms. There's no There's no six ether in the kings on the coat of the arms. Stop for law. So look, I was showing you, right, all the way back then. This is in February. I was showing you in the lecture called The Perceived Threat. I knew that the energy of I Can't Breathe is coming back. I'm showing you how they cook because I know what the hell I'm talking about. Talk black to me. So I'm showing you that they're going to bring back the Eric Gardner thing. Something is going to pop up with I Can't Breathe. Something is going to pop up with the breath. Something is going to take place that's a homicide. Way before George Floyd popped up in the picture. That's why when the George Floyd thing popped up, I had to hop on that and do what I had to do and teach on that and show the significance of that being, the Twin Cities. Him being twins with my dude, I give y'all this for free. This is not even behind a paywall. This is all free cloth. And I'm honored that y'all are here to get it. And y'all got it in February. And, we continue to just, deliver. We continue to deliver what we receive. Straight prophecies, right? There goes the shirt called I Can Breathe. Let me riddle me this, my niggas and my niggettes and my nagas and my negooses. You see them wearing that shit anymore? They wore that shit one night. You see them wearing that anymore? I don't. That was a grand opening, grand closing. How about that? Yeah. That was grand opening, grand closing. That shit was on the clearance rack the next day. Yeah. Talk black to me. Why did Kamani Gray have to die? Right? Why? Right? Why did Sandra have to die? Did you see the video where the police officer went straight Nazi on her and wigged out? They just released it recently. Did you see that? Why did Michael Brown have to die? Why did Sean Bell have to die? Why did Eric Gardner have to die? These people don't gotta die. Look at what they was doing with Coney. These are some familiar faces, ain't it? Look at what they was doing with Coney. Like I said, the Coney ritual was the illest ritual of 2012, bar none. It was bigger than Trayvon Martin. It set off the Trayvon Martin shit. There you go, all of the spirit cookers. Oprah, Mark Zuckerberg, Lady Gaga, Bill Gates, right? You got Jay-Z and Rihanna in there. Angelina Jolie. Okay? Nigga. This shit look like Hogwarts Academy. This look like uh Harry Potter. So they were behind the Coney propaganda. It got exposed that it was propaganda. And they were propagandizing the death of Africans, right? They were propagandizing armed resistance against this man and his child soldiers in Africa. They were like, yo, go and kill them. Look, invisible children. Invisible children. That was the name of the campaign, right? Mercury in retrograde in Aries, Saturn and Mars. Mercury is the messenger between the gods and humankind. He is the only god allowed passage to and from Hades, which is hell, at one whether in the realm of heaven or on the earthly plane. Mercury personifies the concept of bringing things together. He unites. Naturally, he rules Gemini, the sign associated with making connections, as well as Virgo, the sign associated with health. A functioning society needs its individual parts to communicate with each other, to give and take, to ebb and flow, to walk, to stand still, to speak and to listen. Without flexibility, communication, or willingness to work together, we are unable to fulfill our true potential. When Mercury turns retrograde, he indicates to us that we must turn within and reconcile the differences between our own inner voices, to listen, to stand back without judgment, to reflect, right? What was the whole stay at home thing about? What was the whole stop working thing about? What was the whole stop moving, stop the ebb and flow, stop walking, stand still, listen to your inner voice, listen to the news, listen to Fauci, you know what I mean? Listen to all of these people on YouTube tell you about 5G, right? That's Mercury. That is Gemini. That's communication, right? What's going on? NBA player Dwayne Wade forced to defend his preteen son from anti-LGBTQ trolls, right? So his son Zion is now Zaya, right? And they promoting the pride. Okay? So here you have a disturbing trend, right? With the sexualization of children. This is a boy. He's 12, right? Hormones and things of that nature kick in at 12, right? And boys begin to really find out if they're boys and how much of a boy they are around 12. That's when your nuts drop, right? And you start going through puberty, right? So I'm confused. Unless the child got sexualized at a very early age, he didn't even naturally go through the excretion of testosterone to find out how much of a man or a girl is inside of him, right? Because he's reached puberty at 12. So here's Billy Porter. And the trend that is disturbing is that a man with mental health issues, look at his face. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to judge nobody, but I'm just saying, God damn it. Look at his wig piece, right? This man is not together, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not going to make no excuses for any black man on this planet. This nigga is not together upstairs, right? That's a lot of abuse on his face. That's a lot of pain right there, bro. That man is not happy. And he should not be around children. That's a nutty ass nigga right there. And the fact that they got him chilling with Bert and Ernie and the children, I think that's very disingenuous. That's what they call facetious, right? Now look at this man. And y'all be capping out here talking about this is not mental health, right? And y'all want to act like this is not mental health, right? And this is not a fucking crisis of mental health. right? Look at your boy. So you mean to tell me that this is a normal ass mind? This is a normal brain? You mean to tell me that this nigga is normal? You mean to tell me that this is not mental health? But somebody could get on a train, and if they didn't take a shower for a few days, then that's a mental health case. Or if they get on a train and they don't have the right sneakers on or the right clothes and they asking for change, then they got mental health issues. But if homie came on a train dressed like that, you mean to tell me that that's not a mental health issue for political purposes or to be politically correct? We supposed to not say that? Come on, man. I don't want to exist in your bubble like that. I can't. I cannot do that. I just have to keep it a buck. And me and this man could actually, we could drink a sea moss and have a conversation. But we have to be honest about the mental health of each other. I'll tell that nigga, I'm crazy. How about you? And if he say, oh, I'm just fine, as wine, I'm good, brother Rad, then I'm gonna throw up my peanut punch. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, nigga, you're in denial. It's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. So just for that alone, is he, by a show of hands, could this nigga babysit your children? Huh? Give me fire emojis if he can't. And if he can, give me the rainbow emojis. And I'm going to let the people see how the voting looks. There's 666 of us right now. God damn it. Okay. Mirage Island said that he could. Are you saying that he can babysit? Okay. Give me the fire emojis. I don't want to hear no hell no. We want to see Babylon. Like, let me see what, yeah, talk black to me. Hell to the nah. Hell's nah. So if he can't theoretically babysit the babies, how the hell is he on Sesame Street babysitting the baby? And I'm not talking about that nigga from South Carolina. He on he on he on Sesame Streets, right? Look at this. Babysitting the baby. Because the little baby, the baby from Cash Money, and the rest of the Boss Baby and all of these niggas, they watch Sesame Street. It's a lot of fire emojis. They said Bussy popping on a handstand. Right? There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. All right, y'all can slow down with the fire, okay? Y'all gonna about to let off the goddamn. Remember, I used to have the fire alarm shit going off in my background. Y'all about to start that off again. Slow down. Yeah, fire button and all of that. Yeah, yeah. It's a but. Okay, Babylon. All right. Yeah, I watched Elmo growing up too. You know who used to scare me? The old men that was on the this nigga right there that looked like a vulture. Him and the two old men. Now Billy Porter is gonna give us nightmares. Because if I saw that episode, I'm finna have nightmares. He looked crazy. He's cuckoo. Insane in a membrane. And they are just running around, parading these people around, and they're making fun of them. They making fun of them. They know what's going on. These people are making fun of them. The liberals, they just making fun of these people. That's not right. They clowning them. These niggas think that the white people laughing with them. They think that people laughing with them. Come on, man. Look, devaluing black bodies. How police shootings can thwart the search for justice. You keep showing people enough people getting killed, niggas is gonna be like, just kill them. We don't care. They devalue. They're desensitizing you. Look, why white liberal women pay a lot of money to learn over dinner how they're racist, right? It's called Race to Dinner. Each dinner costs $2,500, which could be covered by a generous host or divided amongst guests, right? Shit. Pay me 25 racks to tell you how much I don't like you, right? And then they're reading White Fragility. hmm So they have wealthy white women sit with this black woman and look at her. She's so concerned. Please tell me more, right? Tell me more about racism. We want to eat it up at dinner, right? So while you're talking about how white people are racist, they're eating their little quinoa and their salads. And you know what they're imagining the salad is? You. You know what I'm talking about? They're eating up and drinking all of your tears. They'll pay you 2,500 to soak up your energy. When we see photographs of said some dead bodies, but not others, you will not see photographs of dead soldiers. You will not see photographs of them niggas coming back from the war. But you seen Philandro Castile take his last breath. You seen Terrence Crutcher, Alton Sterling, Philandro, Tamir, Eric Gardner, Walter Scott, all of them got killed on film. Michael Brown's brains was in the sidewalk for 4 hours, leaking, right? Police violence. Look at how they killed the goddess. Eric Gardner's daughter died. Her heart couldn't take it anymore, right? She died of a broken heart. Okay? It's a crisis. It is a health crisis. People are dying. People are getting bad health because of the fact that they're not getting no fucking justice, none whatsoever, right? So this is how Jay-Z cuts his teeth and becomes the god of the woke community and whatnot. And I'm not judging him. God damn it. Somebody had to be the president. So he comes in through the Trayvon energy. He's tied into the Trayvon energy. He started popping up at the marches with the mama, and that's when people was like, "Oh shit, Jay Z cares and whatnot." And then he showed up with the mother, and then he signed on to do the documentary, and he did a good job on the documentary, right? He did a good job, right? Look at Carolina Lords proprietors. You talking about why is there earthquakes? Look at the Carolina Lords of proprietors, right? Uh, The Atlantic slave trade started a lot earlier than you think. The Portuguese began trafficking African captives in the 1440s. In England, the War of the Roses have yet to begin. It wasn't initially a transatlantic trade. In the early days, enslaved Africans were brought to Portugal or to Atlantic islands like Madeira to work in agriculture, right? This is a story about the breeding farms, right? How they had our women on breeding farms, especially in places like Louisiana and places like the Chesapeake, that's the DMV area, which to this day has the highest rate of incest. That's in Baltimore. The highest rate of incest is in Baltimore because that's what they were doing on the sex farms. They were breeding our people, brothers and sisters, sisters and brothers, cousins, and all kind of shit, right? Richmond, Virginia. These are the same places that began to burn later on in the year. These are the same Civil War heroes: Stonewall Jackson, Jefferson Davis, Robert E. Lee, right? As far as the cities that I've ever lived in, I spend as much time in Richmond, Virginia as anywhere. I travel there multiple times a year, often for a few days, for a week at a time. Richmond is serious about most of its history. I visited the Edgar Allan Poe Museum. Monument Avenue contains several statues, mostly of Confederate war heroes. Stonewall Jackson, Jefferson Davis, J.E.B. Stuart, Robert E. Lee, they're honored there. And the late African tennis star Arthur Ashe, he was from Virginia. He don't got no statues like that, right? So this is Richmond, Virginia. This is where the breeding farms was popping at. That energy, you can't wash that away. You got to do something. Something got to happen because that energy, that spirit, you got to continuously do something with that spirit. That's why that shit was lit up. That's why that shit was on fire. That's why that shit was popping, right? Later on down the line. Because the spirit is not going to allow that shit to settle. There goes the Trayvon Martin picture where they have him in a Masonic pose. Look how his legs are. That's the hangman pose. Okay? That's the hangman pose. Right? And they got Mike Brown in the street. Right? Talk about how they do our people. They talk about how they do our people. Right? Molly Percocet. Yeah, I know some of you young niggas is getting excited when you see this. X was 20. Juice World was 21. Little Peep was 21. Little Snoop was 18. Mac Miller 26. Fredo 27. Capital Steez 19. Pop Smoke 20. Right? It's a whole bunch of names to name off. Right? This is the origin to some of the wars in Brooklyn. The Woo and the True. Bang Bang. They did this article in 2014. So they've been tracking the war, 500 days of war, right? And June 24th, 2010, 500 days of war, pure gunplay in Brooklyn and whatnot. These wars that started in 2010, these wars that raged on in 2014 are the same wars that you see 2020 with the Woos and it's the same people. They still at war. And now it's just new generations of them. That's what Pop Smoke had got caught up in when, he had his ops and whatnot, and they were drilling and they was, people was trying to pop each other. Ever since Pop Smoke's Meet the Woo debut, people have wondered exactly who are they meeting. New fans may not know, but the Brooklyn DA Eric Gonzalez does. And recently, he and Commissioner Dermoy Shaw have arrested 34 alleged gang members under the suspicion of trading numerous guns connected to 13 shootings in Kings County, right? So they is out there getting busy, right? So here go the Chews, right? And here go the Woos and whatnot. And these two gangs are at war with each other. Shout out to both of them. And I hope they have found that they find some kind of peace, right? That they find some kind of peace, right? Now, this is just a typical week on Vlad. You got Kevin Childs talking about making 100K running up his drug empire. Then you got No Malice talking about getting involved in drug dealing. Then you got Anthony Jeezy talking about how he got his Mexican drug connect. Then you got a former MST gang member talking about how he started MS-13. Then you got Vlad walking, you got Mob James walking Vlad through the process of a drive-by shooting, right? Then you got Bosco talking about he believes Takashi will start the wave of snitching. Then police are searching for a hearse with a body inside of a stolen church. So, and then Floyd Mayweather dropped 11,000 on rare Air Force Ones. That's news. That this nigga bought a pair of sneakers, y'all. That's news, right? That's what I'm saying. Coronavirus is not just in the fucking air, bro. You gotta watch what you eating. All of this content. You gotta watch what you watching. You gotta watch what you listening to. All of that, right? We talked about this in a previous episode, right? Look, January 5th. So y'all don't think that I be out here just tooting my own horn and I don't know what I'm talking about. January 5th, right? I highlighted. That's why I got 2020 year of fear because I was doing a research about how they're going to cook this year because the people who write the daily news, the people who put these covers on the daily news, the media, the people who run the media, they are the programmers of this reality. I understand how the year is going to be built out based off of the algorithm that these people are focusing on because these are the wizards and the warlocks, right? I was like, hold on, 2020 is the year of fear, right? January 5th. This is the beginning of the year. This is the beginning of the year. I shouldn't be talking about the year is going to be filled with fear. I shouldn't be talking about the year of fear. And then they put this, because I was already talking about the year of fear, and then they went and put this cover out, right? January 5th, the beginning of 2020, right? Trump's targets, right? Trump's targets, right? That's right after they killed the Iranian. Give them the globes. Give them, this is how they do their word magic. Give them the globes. Trump's targets, right? There is an anti Semitism crisis. The return of fear. Come on, y'all. You don't know how these people cook. You don't know how these spirit cookers is cooking, right? This is their Ouija board. This is their Ouija board. Talk black to me. This is their Ouija board. The daily news and the posts and whatnot. My master teachers taught me this. Bobby and Phil taught me this. I learned from my master teachers and I'm following in their footsteps, right? This is their Ouija board. This is their Black Mirror. This is how they do their rituals. So daily news, January 5th, 2020, 1/5/20. Give them the globes. Trump's targets. There is an anti-Semitism crisis. The return of fear. From who? Who's in fear? Right? The Jews is in fear. What they in fear about? Niggas? What they in fear about? Right? So the propaganda at that time was the fact that the Hebrew Israelites had killed some Jews in New Jersey in the store, right? And look at the article. When you go and do the research and you pull up the article, look who's on the cover. They got ISUPK, right? They were putting their pictures was on there, and the shooter had nothing to do with the Hebrew Israelites. And we debunked that on the previous show about 3 weeks ago. It was a drug deal going bad. And then the shooters ran into a bakery and the police had a shootout. And they, from what I heard, they killed the people inside of the bakery along with the two shooters. So this brother right here ran into the precinct and basically shot it up, right? This is the beginning of the year. This is when New York was getting lit. This is the attack in New Jersey that they blamed on the Hebrew Israelites, right? Possible link to black separatist movement, right? So later on down the line, through Nick Cannon, through Deshaun Jackson, through Allen Iverson, and through all of these other celebrities and whatnot, they resuscitate the anti-Hebrew Israelite or the anti-Jewish or the anti-Semitism argument. And who do they begin to demonize? They begin to demonize black people in particular. But these brothers who got the truth, these brothers who pose a threat to quote unquote the ones who are masquerading and the ones who are proselytizing and basically, cosplaying. Oh, nah, they got to demonize the brothers. So the Hebrew Israelites are being placed on these terror lists and whatnot. They are being monitored. They're gathering all kind of intelligence on all of the organizations, but this organization is definitely have come under fire, right? Based off of propaganda. How the Christian slaveholders used the Bible to justify slavery. How the Zionists won the body but lost the soul of U.S. politics. Despite millions spent on propaganda, the Zionists have failed to frighten the moral conscience of the U.S. into silence, right? So, Christian Zionism, American monarchy, and the Trump Declaration on Jerusalem. This is very important that you begin to study the tie between Christian Zionism, the Zionists in Israel, and the quote unquote evangelical Christians over here, the Christian Zionists over here, the ones who are followers of Mike Pence and whatnot, the evangelicals and whatnot. They are completely backing all of the atrocities, all of the things that are going on, everything dealing with the apartheid state, the Zionist state, you name it. There is a web that they have woven, and you got to dig into it and you got to unpack it and not be afraid, right? The ideal of black Zionism, right? For the people to try to shit on us and act like that there's only the religion of Judaism is relegated to a nationality, especially these people from Eastern Europe, right? And then when you talk about, nah, we the real Jews, they like, stop, what are you talking about? Anti-Semitism. Oh my goodness, what about Auschwitz? Look, the ideology, the ideology, the ideology of a return to Africa from the African diaspora was called Black Zionism in the first half of the 20th century, indicating an affinity with Jewish Zionism. Ask your great grandparents about this time. Sundquist defines Afro-Zionism as a mode of Pan-Africanism that took its inspiration in significant part from modern Zionism's goal of restoring the Jewish state by repopulating the land of Palestine. As in the Jewish case, in the African American case, too, a praxis of return existed for centuries well before the development of a well thought out ideology. As in the Jewish case, Black Zionism was a reaction to persecution, racism, degradation, and discrimination, particularly a reaction to slavery. Black Zionism was the Black reaction to the race theories of Gobineau, Carlyle, and Robert Knox. Again, as in Jewish Zionism, Black Zionism reflects profound disappointment with emancipation, with the results of the American Civil War, with Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. After a short period of hope for the achievement of equality and human dignity, Reconstruction in the American South was followed by segregation, disenfranchisement. Hold on. The rise of the Ku Klux Klan, lynchings, all of which lasted to the 1960s. Black Zionism ideology contained a variety of ingredients: the idea of salvation, and a claim for racial unity, longing for the African homeland, pride of African civilization, the rejection of assimilation, the return to the roots, and the aspiration not only for self determination, but also for black statehood and power. Come on now, this is not nothing new. To avoid anachronism in this chapter, I do use the terms Negro and Black, which were prevalent in the 19th and 20th centuries, routinely used by African Americans at this time. Look, Lord, I want to cross over into campground. Oh, when I get to heaven, I'll walk all about. There's nobody there for to turn me out. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. I'm sure that shit has some more rhythm to it, but you get the idea. Religious longing was for the promised land, for Zion and Canaan, and for the Jordan River, the Atlantic Ocean, which had to be crossed. Unity of race is another basic black Zionist idea, as Jewish Zionism first had to establish the idea that Jews are a nation, one nation, and that the Jewish question is a national problem, and Black Zionist ideology too. The starting point was that all blacks are unified by race. Africans in Africa and Africans in Mississippi and Alabama, Jamaica and Cuba, in England and France are all one black nation. Pan Negroism and Pan Africanism were the names given to this idea, which gained ground in the earliest 20th century. Already in 1919, W.E.B. Du Bois, a black American Harvard sociologist who for decades was the leading intellectual of black cultural nationalism, asserted that the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line. The Zionist inspired solution to this was that the idea of a return to Africa, indeed, a deep emotional and intellectual connection to Africa, is part of Black Zionism. Edward W. Blyden, who was born on the Caribbean island of St. Thomas, was the father. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. This is nothing new. We've been at this for over 100 years. You know what I'm saying? The Judas principle has set us back. The Judas principle has slain our messiahs. The Judas principle has kept us from truly manifesting and growing, bro. It's a no-brainer. These coons, the Boule, the Judas, Dubois, the Judas, what W.E.B. Du Bois did to Marcus Garvey, the agent that sold out Marcus Garvey, the agent that sold out Fred Hampton, the Judas, right? Black Lives Matter infiltrating, the Judas. These are all Judas principles. The talented 10th, the Judas, right? These people have been proven, you know, to be in bed with our sworn frenemy and enemies. The enemies who was your frenemy, you know? So they got this sister, they locked her up on a federal hate crime because she's out there kufi smacking Hasidic Jewish people. You know? I don't know what her gripe is, but she was damn sure putting hands and feet on them. Okay? These are the evangelicals across America, right? The adjective for evangelical, crazy. Scripture alone is authority. Pharisee, closed-minded person against people outside their tribe. Very conservative Christian. Teeters on the line of radical. Unashamed to share the gospel. A fundamental strain of Christianity that attempts to give simple answers to very complex questions. 8. The good message, the gospel. 9. Vengeful, hateful, judgmental, bitter people. 10. A word full of good intent, but weighed down with monumental baggage. 11. Fear. 12. Trump rallies. Discrimination of marginalized us first ideology. 13. In its basic form, it conjures up feelings for me of a runner, a sent one with a message that something has happened, that a new king is on the throne, and that the new king is a good king that will make rule with justice and righteousness. Right? They love Armageddon. They got books on it. You know what I'm talking about? Final Dawn, Arabs, Oil, and Armageddon, Holy Wars for the Promised Land, The Rise of Babylon. This is where you get these goddamn writers of these books that you read when you in jail and shit. You know what I mean? You devour those books, or you on a subway. You know, they not even subway books. They jail books. And they always talk about Armageddon and all of that. Yeah, that's your Christian Zionists doing that good propaganda to you. I'm talking about. So these are the states where it's very heavy, right? But evangelicalism in America, right? The most evangelical states is Tennessee, Kentucky. Let's Breonna Taylor, right? Alabama, Oklahoma, Tulsa, Arkansas, Mississippi, right? But then when you look at the spread of the U.S. slavery, right? Look at the spread of the U.S. slavery based on the 1850 census. It's damn near the same places. Okay? It's damn near the same places where your evangelicals are at, right? This is an original Georgia Carolina map. An original Georgia Carolina before it was even a North and South Carolina. An original Georgia Carolina map. And you see all of the indigenous names for this land. Not that shit that they calling it now. Not those cities and those towns that are named after Confederates and whatnot. Not Confederates, child rapists, pedophiles, organ harvesters, right? Now look at the hate groups in 2018. The hate groups are in the same places where slavery was spreading, right? They're booming where the slavery was, and they booming what the evangelicals is at. This is in Colombia, right? To show you how the culture spreads, right? They in Colombia looking like 50 Cent, right? That's the slums. That's the slums. So this is a government document that I got my hands on. Look, Deagle.com, right? Look at the projections. Population 327 million. Forecast for 2025, population 100 million. Okay? 100 million. So these people got plans and they meticulous, right? And even back then in February, we were talking about the child sex. We were showing you about all of these spirit cookers. We were showing you all of these quote unquote, you know, spirit cookers, these pedophiles, these people who mysteriously dying of suicide, and we know that they wasn't killing themselves, right? A pro-gun rally by thousands in Virginia, right? So they had people with the blickies in Virginia out, right? During January, a pro-gun rally by thousands in Virginia, right? Heavily armed people. And, they say that in fact is not doing it right and all of this stuff, but these people step out, right? The oath takers, okay? They step out and they do their thing, right? But this is what I'm showing you, that the oath takers are any group of people who you see in our community who have taken oaths. So there's nothing that you could say to them. There's nothing that you could get through their minds. There's nothing that you could convince them of. There's nothing that you could do because they took an oath. They took an oath, family. These are the oath takers, right? Some of your grandfathers was Masons and whatnot, or in the Elks Club. They took an oath to not to tell your family about that shit, right? They took an oath to not tell you about what they was involved in and who was the master Masons and stuff like that. These are oath takers, the same way that these are oath takers, right? These men took oaths, right, to protect whatever they took an oath to protect. They don't belong to us, right? They belong to whoever they took an oath with, right? Those are the oath keepers, right? Who did Jay-Z take an oath to? Who did Oprah take an oath to? When you in them gangs, you take an oath, right? When you in a gang, you take an oath. So even the gangs, even the red and the blue, even Pop Smoke and Nipsey and them, they had an oath to their gang, not to you. They had an oath to their gang, to their set, to their tribe. That's what it is. And you can't break that oath. And if you break the oath, you could die. It happens in the streets and it happens with the Boule and the Masons and all of them. It's called oath taking. And you got to be, about that life. And you got to be basically on that time where you like, I'm going to ride and die for mines. I'm going to kill for mines and nothing is going to stop me. Right? That's a different kind of commitment. So you got people who have not taken oaths telling people who took oaths what to say it, how to move, where to move, when to move, and that's not how this shit works. You know what I mean? Get on your oaths, my nigga. You got to learn, hey, everything is a sacrifice, right? And life is a series of unfortunate events. You know what I'm talking about? Life is a series of unfortunate events. So, what are we taking oaths to? What are we willing to take an oath to? That's $1 million question. But my time for tonight is coming to an end. Make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, leave a tip for the food that was provided tonight. You know what I'm talking about? Make sure you go and get the tickets for the Black August live stream, because this is a live stream that we'll be doing along with a live lecture, right? So this is just a warm up. This is not the lecture. This is not what it. We're not even gonna get into everything that we got into tonight. That's just a warm up. That's just a warm up. That's just to show you that we coming and whatnot. That's just a warm up. This what we showed you the perceived threat. That's an old lecture. Every oath is not bad, and I've never said that the oaths are bad. Let's be clear. I just showed you that there are people that are out there that are oath takers, and oath takers have more camaraderie. Oath takers have more um, loyalty to each other because they took an oath. So just on that, they could beat you faster because they took an oath. They have a stronger connection than somebody that's flim flammy running with someone who they don't know will fucking kill for them or drill for them or hold them down and protect them and not cross them. Because in a situation where you have a bunch of Judases around you, you gotta have to have oath takers around you. You gotta take an oath. You gotta have people around you that are taking an oath of life and death to stand with you, to protect and serve. It just gotta be the right oath. So do you think we're gonna move through life and we're not gonna have people around us that are taking oaths, that are obeying an oath? It's not that. I mean, are you serious? Do you think you let me just see my face? You think that we're gonna just waddle through life, knowing our worth, knowing what we provide, knowing what we do, right? And knowing how these snakes slither, and knowing how unloyal these bird ass niggas are. Do you think we're not gonna deal with oaths? And I'm talking about death oaths at the end of the day. Some shit that you can't get out of. Some shit that you just can't, you know what? I don't feel like doing this. No, my nigga, that's not how it goes. Do not come and sit on this G5. Don't sit on this plane if you're not ready to go up. Do not get off the flight, my nigga. Get off the plane. Because where we're going, you're gonna have to take an oath. You're gonna have to, you might have to take a blood oath. Because that's where it's going. It's getting that serious. It's getting that serious. And I'd rather live around people who have taken the oath and I know that they put it on a line than to be with these fucking flip flop, flim flamsy Judases. And with that being said, we're gonna leave it on a song. I got a request. They want to hear me pull that back 24 hours. And I'm talking about yeah, and that's what we're gonna do. So, like I said, January 29th, August 29th in Atlanta. The flyer is on the way. And it's going to be at two prices. We're going to have a bundle where you're going to pay one price for both days. But get your early bird ticket for Sunday right now because I think it's at $30 or something. Nigga, that's a bargain. That's a basement bargain. The minute I put out the second flyer for day two, the 29th, that's going to go up. That's going up. I'm just letting you know. This is the early bird ticket. Get your ticket. And if you in the building, I see you there. If you're not, I see you there still. Pull up. There's going to be performances. There's going to be workshops. There's going to be vendors. If you want to be a vendor, hit me on my DM or hit me on my email, right? It's going to be selective vendors. I'm not letting everybody in. I have the right to turn you down and say, fuck you. You know what I mean? If you're a vendor that I don't like. Yeah, I'll be mad if you ain't at my weight. You know what I'm saying? So hit me up and I hit you back. All right. And with that being said, Y'all can't hear it? All right, hold on. I got my Bluetooth on.
Think of my creator, I can read it right.
That better?
Stumbled on my path, I think I need a ride.
I'm gonna bring it back.
Bring my evil side. Swallowing my evil moon, tuggle war drama. When it's really age, but the same day looping in the phase of just 24 hours. If your neighbor does more with the same 24, gotta ask yourself, what is your power? Or you living for the struggle all hours? All I got is 24 hours.
I hope the audio of my show wasn't low because I had it on Bluetooth.
All I got is 24 hours. Living, dying 24 hours. When it's really age, but the same day looping in the phase of just 24 hours. If your neighbor does more with the same 24, gotta ask yourself, what is your power? Or you living for the struggle or honor? Should've make a nigga summon forefathers. I'm just thankful that my mother provided. Should've brung a double dozen more flowers. Uppers all diamonds, blood of pure sour. Smoking through my last 24 hours. Same sun and moon, tug of war drama. Feel the tears look above in salt showers. I just wish I had 100 more hours. God's generous, but 24's modest. What we got a budget for? Can I borrow some of yours? Spend it quick as $24. Gone faster than my mother's warm chowder. I could feel a tender love and pure power. Here's 24, her 24, there 24, wish 24 hours. Would you trade your money for hours? Trade your hours for a couple more commas. First you see the dark and then you see the light. Then you see the day and then you see the night. I'm just narrating what I see inside. Think of my creator, I can read it right. Stumbled on my path, I think I need a ride. Struggle in the silence, bring my evil side. Swallowing my ego when I eat my pride. Fighting to the end until I see the pride. All I got is day and night. Right? Night is dark, day is light. I say good morning, then I say good night. Day and night, my only options in the game of life. Play the dice, you lose them both if you don't pay the price. Night is black, and day is white, kind of racial right. Sundial, it's made of ice like a glacier might. Calibrated the way I like, count to 24-hour hand. Rotate it twice, day and change the night. Mother Nature.
Damn, hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to break the cipher. I'm being rude right now. I almost forgot that we're gonna be in Jacksonville, Florida this weekend on the beach. Oh my goodness. Let me go to my Instagram real quick. How can I forget that? Me and Blue Pill are gonna be in Jacksonville, Florida. It's free too. We're gonna be on the beach. We're gonna have something called the Conscious Camp Out. I need y'all to pull up, especially if you're in the Florida area. I just had to show this in case y'all watch this on a playback. Look, right? Let me give you the flyer. Where's the flyer, my friend? There go the flyer, right? This is going to be in Jacksonville, Saturday and Sunday. This is the beginning of that ritual that we're going to finish off on Black August on the 30th and the 29th. This is where it starts though, on the beach. If you want to tap in to healing, if you want to tap into yoga, if you want to come and spend the night, we're spending the night on the beach, the second annual Conscious Camp Out. We're celebrating Marcus Garvey. We're reading from the philosophies and opinions. We're going to have mushrooms. We're going to be healing. We're going to be in a tent. Come and bring your own tent. This is a family affair and it's free 99. It's in Jacksonville, Florida. It's on one of the first black beaches ever, American Beach. So pull up, come to the Black Beach. Will Trick Daddy be catering the event? I'm gonna ask. I'll let you know. Let's see if he could get us some curry, some jerk jackfruit and whatnot. Pull up, yeah, pull up. You know, bring anything that you need to bring to celebrate life, right? Because we're gonna be on the beach, we're gonna be celebrating, we're gonna be chilling, we're gonna be with our brother Diallo Sekou, who's from Jacksonville, and he's a good brother out there. So yeah, pull up, be in the building. I might live stream. I'm working to see if we are going to get the connection while we're on the beach to the Wi-Fi, everything. So I don't want no glitching. I don't want it to be half-assed. So yeah, I'll let you know. But that's coming up this weekend in Jacksonville. If you in Miami, if you in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Duval, all of those places, pull up. What you doing? You know what I'm talking about? Let's have fun. We're gonna play this on the
Father
beach
time
too.
had a baby and they named it Christ. They only son, I hope they raise him right. Daughter told her name is Luna, but they ain't alike. When sun is down, you see her rising to her greatest height. Feel like E.T. on his flying, levitating bike. You see my shadow on the moon, cause I was taking flight. Living like I made a shine. Yeah. First you see the dark and then you see the light. Then you see the day and then you see the night. I'm just never reading what I say inside. Think of my creator, I can read it right. Stumble on my path, I think I need a ride. Struggling in sadness, bring my evil side. Swallowing my ego and I eat my pride. Fighting to the end until I see the prize.
I'll be mad if you ain't at my wake. In a race, blasting faith and some past the mace. Throwing bricks, wrapped in mask and tape. Kick me from the fifth down to Astor Place. Let me see the grin on the bastard's face. I'm coming from the kin of the master race. Next to Nipsey in the master's race. I know the code, so I cracked the safe. Bury me with Sadie in his casket late. And we own her, so our master safe. Bury me in polo with a gap on waist. Victory is sweet, I need the aftertaste.
First you see the dark and then you see the light. Then you see the day and then you see the night. I'm just never reading what I see inside. Think of my creator, I can read it right. Stumble on my path, I think I need a ride. Struggling in sadness, bring my evil side. Swallowing my ego and I eat my pride. Fighting to the end until I see the prize.
Yes, indeed. Love and light to the family. Peace.